Hey everybody, I've mentioned in the piece that I did about the history of the tunnels on the Tehachapi of how the line changed down through the canyon where tunnel half was. And on the piece that I did, just showing the drive into Illman from Caliente, I briefly, as I was driving by, pointed the camera over where the original main line was. Well, was doing some other stuff down here, and I thought I would stop and take the opportunity to do this. And I am watching out for snakes. It is definitely snake season. It is June 2nd, and it's about 85 degrees. Perfect snake weather. But I haven't seen any so far. They don't like me anymore than I like them. They stay out of my way. Behind me, you can see the number 1 and number 2 tracks. This is double track. Ilmon is back there behind me, about a mile. Now this is about where the original main line exited the old roadbed, which we'll be walking down here in a minute. And this is about where it exited. This track alignment, where those rails are, was not the original alignment. This wasn't done until part of it was done in '83 after the flood, and the other track was done in late '83, early '84, right as I came back from being laid off. I came back in January of '84, but I worked up in Tulare. I came down here and started working on the mountain in May, and they were working on the second track at that time. But at that time, they were still using the original main line that we're going to be on here in a minute as the siding. This would have been about where the east end of Illman was at one time. Illman and Caliente were two separate sidings at one point, and this would have been where East Illman was about. And then the main line went, let's take a look over there. And before I take off on my hike and adventure too far, I want everybody to see that I have put on my boots. Not going to take a chance on nails, snakes, holes, or any other stuff that may be out there. All right, let's head out on the old roadbed so we can see. Okay, that is looking back west along with the original main line, and later siding would have been. This would have been about where the end of the siding was. Once they created that siding, the siding wasn't originally here. It was just single track main line. And it actually crossed right about here. And I'm not going to stand, the signals aren't lit up there, so there isn't anything coming behind me. It went out that way and was actually on a trestle in the creek bed. Went up a little ways, connected back kind of where the main line is now, then pulled away from it again to the right, up around just below tunnel half. If you go back and look at the pieces that I did on the tunnels where I talk about tunnel half, I kind of show where that original rail bed, that original alignment was. None of that road bed and none of that trestle exist. There have been far too many floods since then. That's all wiped out and gone. So let's take a cruise down here and see what's up. Okay, you can see where the old roadbed was here, the cut off to the right here. Again, that's looking back up towards the track. It would have went across pretty much about where that second tree to the left is against the hill there. But you can see where it took off that way and started to curve around that way. We'll walk up there. Come across this small culvert here. Used to drain that little draw right there. Generally, these would have dates on them, but I think this was probably one that was rebuilt in 1984. And had stopped doing that kind of stuff by then, especially for a place they knew wasn't going to be here much longer, or at least wasn't going to be in service. And again, head on up the trail, up the roadbed. See what's here. Here, boy, there's some cool stuff for rock hounds around here. That's a really cool looking rock, I think. Had one of the old timers one time try to tell me that this was part of the original Baker stage road that went to Caliente. That is absolutely incorrect. The Baker stage road is pretty much followed by the current Caliente Bodfish Road. There are certain places, if you look alongside the road there, generally to the south of the current Caliente Bodfish Road, that you can actually see some of the old parts of the Baker Stagecoach Road, which was called Baker Grade, I think, something like that. I don't remember. It's in one of my books. Milepost 331.6. And as you can see, this culvert is dated 1924. Now, I don't know. I know some line changes were certainly made in 1932. That's when they got rid of all the trestles and everything and realigned the main line and put it up on higher ground. But perhaps this was in advance of that. Don't know if it was the same project, but that little bridge there drained this draw here. And still today, when we get a lot of rain, that little place out there, that low spot, gets a lot of water in it. I just had something happen that I've never had happen as long as I've been shooting all these videos, and I've certainly shot in a lot warmer weather than this. But my camera turned off and said it was too hot. It's about 85 degrees. It's cloudy. I don't have a ham hold on my phone. I'm just holding it with a couple of fingers, so maybe it's just working hard. But anyway, I'll walk back the other way to where the phone turned off. This, you can look back and see the roadbed going that way to the left. I went around here about where the modern alignment is, and then when it got to the other side of that hill there, it went back in and followed the contour of those hills down to where the switch is now. Not going to do that because a roadbed's a roadbed. This video is going to be long enough. But you can see the tracks there. Caliente Creek over on the other side. This stuff was all wiped out. It was all gone right up into here after the flood. Like I said, I was laid off when it happened, so I don't have first-hand experience, but I have seen quite a few photographs of it. But I'm only going to walk back up here to this bridge that's completely covered up now. Well, it's not covered up, but it's covered up to the bottom where it's no longer actually a culvert. But the roadbed is easily visible here. Still haven't seen any snakes. That's a good thing. But you can see this this whole culvert here. The handrails has been completely silted in from rainwater on that draw. This is also done in 1924. It's back there behind those weeds, but it's back there. I wouldn't lie to you. And again, for you rock hounds, man, those things look like big old pieces of iron. I don't know what kind of rocks those are. If they're just, I don't know. I don't know what they are. They're just oxidized. Maybe they came from Mars or something. Just kidding. But man, look at those. That looks so cool. A lot of cool rocks out here. I'm not a rock hound myself. I'll have to bring my dear friends Curtis and Leslie Nelson out here sometime. They love rock hound stuff. But anyway, we've already walked down this part going the other way. I just wanted to share the old roadbed down here, kind of what it looked like back in the old days. I will see if I can find a photograph of a train on this back in yesteryear. If I can, I'll put it in here. Well, please forgive the abrupt ending. My phone shut off because it got too hot again, and I did not feel like waiting for another 15 minutes to shoot just to shoot the end of that. So, as usual, if you have any ideas, anything you'd like to see me do, let me know in the comments below. Drop me an email, motopoet59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell if you'd like to be notified of future content, and we'll see you on the next adventure.